First off, I want to thank Ashland in a difficult situation here, game canceled, and kind of approach it this way with the team that I coached last year. I think we sacrifice way too much. These players sacrifice way too much in terms of what they put into this every day. And this is not a season, they don't play basketball during basketball season. It's a year-long deal. It's like a job in a lot of ways. I think we all know what student athletes put into it, specifically college basketball players. So they make way too many sacrifices not to try to play every single time we can possibly play. And we approached it like that a year ago, and I don't think didn't feel like the right decision last year when we made decisions to play games on a whim. But I thought at the end of the year, our team was a little more prepared to compete because we played, I think, every game you could possibly play in terms of the number of games, because we just kept getting games canceled and kept figuring out how we could play, whether it's going on the road or playing back-to-back or whatever. And so we're trying to take that same mentality. If we're going to run into some COVID issues, let's just play, regardless of who we play, when we play, where we play. Let's just find a game and play, because I think it'll make us a better team, better program, and then I think our guys sacrifice way too much not to be able to put the uniform on and run out and play a game. So I want to thank Ashland for coming tonight. I want to thank our fans for showing up. I mean, you just pinch yourself. Like you walk out of that tunnel and, I know our fans don't buy season tickets to see us play Division II opponents. Now they're a pretty good basketball team. I think let's give credit to them. Well coached, they run their stuff, they're disciplined, they're in good position defensively. But our fans don't pay for tickets to watch us play Division II games. So with a circumstance like this, an extenuating circumstance, for them to still come show up and support us, man, it just blows me away. And I don't need a lot of motivation, because I like to think that I don't lack for that. But it just gives you more of an urgency that we got to do a better job and to become a type of team for the people that care about this program. And so I want to thank our fans for coming out in these extenuating circumstances. They gave us a nice lift tonight. David shot it, and David played well. I thought he played with some passion and some edge, and made some plays kind of there in the first half to get us going a little bit, and obviously made some plays to start the second half. So was pleased with some of the stuff he did. Jeremiah shot the ball well, and we're trying to figure out ways to get him more engaged in the offense and put him in better positions to take advantage of his offensive weapons. And I thought, he did a nice job shooting the ball, making some plays tonight, and played with some nice edge. So it's good to see those guys score it. And there were some good things throughout the game. I don't mean to be negative Nancy and all that. There were some segments that were good, and there were some moments that were good, and sometimes we did some good things. But I'm disappointed in our performance over 40 minutes. We had what I think is probably the best in-season practice that we've had all season yesterday. And we had a real sense of urgency to try to work and address some of the things that are holding us back. And I don't know any other way to do it than just to get in the gym and work at it, practice. I don't have any secrets to success. It's going to take what it's going to take. And I thought our guys really came out and gave it to us yesterday, and were inspired and trying to push through some things to become a better team. And I didn't see that for 40 minutes tonight. And, I'm frustrated, and I think they know I'm frustrated. One of the reasons I'm frustrated is because I think more of our group than that. I think we have high-character guys. I think we have guys that want to do it right. And so I got to figure out a way to get us to take some steps. And, again, not being able to see that 2 days in a row is frustrating. But we'll get back to work here as soon as I get done with you guys and get to the film. And we'll give them a chance to catch their legs and get a breath, and we'll get back to work on the basketball court on Monday and try to finish this thing off on Tuesday against Tennessee Tech.
You go up 25 with 11:46 left. Was it just, did focus dip, or what did you see that allowed them to kind of get back in it?
Yeah, sense of urgency, positioning, ball pressure, activity, pursuit of the ball, the focus to execute and be in the right positions offensively. Yeah, a lot of that.
Can you just tell us what yesterday was like from your perspective, and finding out the game was canceled, and some of the work that went into getting this scheduled?
It was walking into practice. I think we were going to start our scouting report at 11:30, and I want to say at 11:26, something like that. I mean, I have to look at my phone. I don't have it on me, but somewhere within 3 or 4 minutes of us starting to do our walkthrough for Texas Southern, I just peeked down at my phone as I was going to put it on the scores table, and I had a strange number with the text message that said, "Hey, the head coach of Texas Southern, please call me urgent." And, coach said that they weren't going to be able to get on a plane. They had COVID issues, that they had already had issues, were playing through them, and weren't going to be able to come. So it's like, okay, you call the team together. All right, here's the deal. We got to get better today. Maybe we can work a little harder now that we're not preparing for another team. And then we'll try to figure out a game for you guys. Don't know if we'll be able to find one or not, but we'll try that as soon as practice ends. So we practiced about as hard and intense as we've ever practiced here during the season. And the guys were fantastic. And then if you really want to know Justin, the staff, we hadn't eaten yet. So we walked over to Taste of Belgium on Short Vine. We're the only people there. They gave us a great table, great service. So shout out to Taste of Belgium. And is that a Cincinnati thing, Taste of Belgium?
Yeah.
I love food in Cincinnati. It's a good thing. It's some good stuff. And we sat there as a staff, entire staff, and just got on the phone and called everybody we could possibly call. Obviously we're looking at the cancellations that have been announced, and we're calling the team that didn't have the COVID issue. We're calling everybody local. Hey, whether it's Division I, non-Division I, because we think if we got a chance to play a game, we got to play, and that's the best way to improve and grow. I already talked about that. So we did that till about 4:30, and then I went up to meet with John Cunningham about some of the stuff that was available, and it was. Listen, we would have preferred to have a Division I game. It wasn't feasible. There were a couple teams that were interested in playing, but the terms were, I won't share them publicly, but some of the terms, and to their credit, they said we can only do it if this, to get a plane that quickly, or, people asking for hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's like, it was impossible to get that type of game that quickly. But Ashland, who is a formidable opponent, I knew we could get better playing tonight. Was in driving distance, was willing to play, and the terms were very reasonable. And so, we made a decision at 5 o'clock last night to play the game, because you got to have concessions in order and usher. I mean, you learn it's a lot more than just playing a basketball game. There's a lot more that goes into it. So from 11, let's say 20, I'll round down to 5 o'clock. That's what happened, and I'm really pleased that we got a game. We'll get better and learn and grow from this. And again, I appreciate them making the trip.
I'm curious, with COVID seemingly becoming more and more of an issue, not just in college basketball, but all around the country in every sport, are you guys changing anything as far as testing, or maybe just your message of, all right, guys, let's make sure we're still being disciplined and make sure this thing doesn't hit our locker room? Yeah,
it's all happened, Keith. It feels like in 24 hours, right? Isn't that how it felt like a couple springs ago? I mean, yeah. It's like everything's fine and just bang, I think that's something we're going to address with the group. I don't know if we've had time, because again, I don't know if we realized there were any major issues until 11:20 yesterday. And so I think that's something that we're going to have to address and maybe amp up some of our protocols so we have the best chance to continue to play.
How much of a chance did you get to prepare for Ashland?
Not a lot, but we divided up the responsibility as a staff. And then we had I think we met at 7 a.m. as a staff this morning. One guy on the staff has out of bounds, one guy has their defense, one guy has their offense, that type of thing. And we divided that, had a meeting, did a 25-minute walkthrough with the players on the floor at 9 o'clock. And, listen, that has nothing to do with our play. I mean, the things that are ailing us with our play have nothing to do with scouting. Like our guys are focused on the scouting report. They're doing a pretty good job of paying attention to that, being aware of that. That has nothing to do with our poor play at the moment.
You talked about you don't have any tricks, but whether it's focus, edge, execution, whatever, what's the challenge to getting those things to be more consistent? Because we've seen you guys be able to do that.
Yeah, well, I think we earned it, Justin. I think we earned the ability to sustain those things by how we practiced. In the preseason and leading up to our first couple weeks of games. Our practices were contentious. They were challenging. We got tired. We pushed them to the edge. And then those guys kept fighting through fatigue or frustration to try to do the right things and build the right habits. And then you go out and you can, carry that stuff over to the court. I haven't met many players that don't want to play well in the game or don't want to do it right in the game. But you got to earn the right to be able to sustain it when the lights are on and people in the stands and you're playing against another opponent. And I thought we earned that early on, and we got to get back to earning that. And we're going to do a better job of demanding that as a staff.
Coach, great to be here. Russ Elman with All Bearcats. Nice to meet you. What have you seen from Jeremiah Davenport since that Monmouth game that has allowed him to get on a nice little stretch shooting from outside? It's been a clear difference over the past 3 or 4 games.
Man, he's number one, he's really coachable. That's a really important quality in a player. And, you see he has some success really early. Then you see people kind of adjusting to guard him a certain way. And you see the way people are trying to guard him. And then you got to kind of adjust. He has to adjust as a player. We have to adjust as a staff. But that's not always easy if a player's not willing. And he's just so willing to learn. I think he's making better decisions with the ball. And I think when he's making better decisions, he's getting to the second action that he can play out of versus just catching it and going, okay, I'm going to go make a play no matter what the defense is doing or who's in front of me. And, I think it's putting him in better positions to catch and shoot or make quick decisions on the drive versus pounding it in place. The defense loads up to him. And then, he's taking a tougher one or he's turning the ball over or something like that. And then I think the longer that we have time to be together as a team and to work on execution, the more we're going to get better at playing together and making plays for each other in our flow. And I think our team's made a concerted effort over the last couple of weeks to share the ball better and move the ball better and be in the right spots. So I think that's going to help Jeremiah, but it's going to help everybody.
One more question, if we have time? Good. All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Let's go.